parts so that your focal point is in various different places. And obviously, you know, they're pointing out the grid line being at the mantle. And the idea here is that you're drawn to these kind of intersections and that all of your photos should be broken up into these 3 places. Unfortunately, I mean, that's the very basic way that it works. There's also, when you get a little more complicated and you get into dynamic symmetry. So the reason I'm showing this is because the idea of that rule of thirds, it's a great starting point, and you should totally start there. And this is the right way to start looking at photography, I think. And eventually, you can get into that. I mean, to be fair, I don't do this. That's way overly complicated for me too. But I think when you start looking at images, you start finding patterns in the images themselves. So you can start to see those grid lines still exist, but you have these other crossovers, and you can see where images kind of fall. And again, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but this is something that if you're really, really interested in diving into design and composition, these are some of the things you can look at. Beyond this, we have this, which is another piece of kind of how art functions. So again, the point is that you don't have to stick to one rule, that there's a lot of different ways. You just have to keep your eyes open and look for those patterns and look to see what works for you. I highly recommend starting here. And I think the best way to start here, okay, so this is me. If you want more rules on composition, there's a great piece from Petapixel. If you're not familiar with Petapixel, it's a really great photography website, blog thing. And they work with a lot of professional photographers, have a lot of great photography articles, but a lot of this was from that, and it's a great site to look